Who am I? My name is Caleb. I guess I should show you. I broke my back on December 23rd, 2022. It was a snowboarding accident. The whole day went normal. We were just enjoying it, and then to go hit the jump. Last thing I remember is what the jump looked like. All of a sudden, bam. You're not working anymore. You're in recovery. I don't even remember Christmas, right? So I came to after Christmas. I couldn't believe that I wouldn't walk again. They told me that I'm 99.9% sure not going to walk again, and that yeah, I didn't want to accept that. The only thing I had on my goal list was to walk again, and for them to tell me I can't walk again, that hurt. During that whole process of figuring everything out I need to do, my family doing what they can, the High Fives Foundation came in and they helped coach my dad on how to apply for funding for home modifications. I was at Renown. I was there for 11 days. Renown Regional in Reno, Nevada. I was in the ICU 8 days, if I remember correctly. And then another 3 days holding area where I was able to practice, transferring out of the bed into a wheelchair for the first time. I take an ambulance ride to Kaiser Vallejo. So my rehab at Kaiser, I would say it was a great experience. I would just say that it was way too short. While I was there, I had friends and family come to visit me, which was amazing. Rehab, my goodness, I was learning how to do everything. I was learning how to transfer into a wheelchair. I was learning how to just move around on a bed, just basic things, how to throw my body weight with this giant turtle shell on that is protecting my spine but also keeping me from moving. 3 weeks go by like it was nothing. January 23rd, 2023, I was home. And that is when everything hit. Construction started in the bathroom, so I was able to have a roll-in shower thanks to High Fives and my parents. Since that construction started, my bedroom was in the living room downstairs. Just had a medical hospital bed. And then since the construction was going on, my dad would take me to the gym and shower me with the hard shell on. It was quite a trip to leave the house in the state I was in. So yeah, I just showered, when I could. The transition home was when it really hit me, because there was not 24-hour care anymore. It was me, it was my mom, my dad, and then I had at-home health, which is not the same as 24-hour care. It's not as intense, and I definitely was struggling at this time of my injury. It really hits you when you go home, and the whole time I was in the hospital, I was so positive. And when the mental health professional came to talk to me when I was at Kaiser, I was so happy-go-lucky that I'm just like, why are you talking to me? I'm not sad. I'm gonna walk again. And yeah, and it all really hit me when I got home, and it was dark. That first 6 months to a year of my injury was so dark. Yeah, I didn't want to live anymore. And that broke me. Mentally, I was done. I was ready to be done. But then, yeah, I found the Lionheart community, and they helped me out so much. The Lionheart community is my local Sacramento nonprofit wheelchair group, and they were there. The knowledge was there in the Zoom groups when I first joined every Wednesday, and then eventually it turned into in-person events, and then eventually, yeah, more exciting events that I'd love to talk about later. Not only that, 6 months in, got the opportunity to go to something called the Franklin Project at NorCal SCI. They sent me out to NeuroWorks, which is top facility for doing rehab. And yeah, they paid for my whole trip out there, and I got some new spunk to life again, and I was able to push hard and work towards getting function below my injury. And I worked my ass off there. I was able to gain a lot of strength from this trip, but I did not gain any more function below my injury levels. I got to ride an electric mountain bike for the first time with Wasatch Adaptive when I was out in Salt Lake City during my Neuralink trip. Ever since that day, I've been trying to get as much seat time as possible on different bikes to try different ones to see what is the most capable. And I figured out the one that's most capable, and every time I get a chance to ride a Bowhead Reach, I ride it, and it is so freeing. It is the closest I feel to being an able body again. After this trip, it finally clicked in my head that, oh, you're really not walking again. Ever since that trip, I've been able to accept the wheelchair and just be Calebwheel, right? That's who I am now. Finished that trip up, having this new confidence in this wheelchair. I'm strong as ever. And what do I want to do right when I get back? Boom, I start school. I initially went to school to be a mechanic. I didn't like it. I went to school to be a welder. I liked it. I ended up right away getting a job at Siemens Mobility. I was able to weld the Amtrak locomotives. It was a really cool job, and I really do miss it. I thought back to when I was in school for welding. I took a jewelry class, and I did really well in the jewelry class. And so after the engineering didn't work out, I decided to find the closest school for jewelry. I do some research and I find out they have stairs. I'm like, okay. And I wanted to do jewelry so bad that eventually I just, instead of having to go down the stairs to get in it, I built my own ramp. I wanted to do jewelry so bad, and so I made it happen. I wasn't going to let it stop me. Yeah, I love that school, and yeah, if anybody wants to do jewelry, go to Metal Arts Academy. When I was finishing up the schooling, I was in the middle of having surgery after surgery after surgery. I ended up getting a pump installed in my stomach. The first surgery was a failed surgery. The second surgery was a success, and then I had to go get the catheter re-spliced because it was leaking, and then once I had that, I was finally able to recover. And that's what my last winter looked like, while also finishing up jewelry school. The last 3 months of 2025 were the busiest months of my life. And my goodness, I have some footage to show. Not yet. My friends and family, they told me to slow down. I didn't listen to them. I even have a sticker on my phone. I had not been taking care of my health. Now, with all of this being said, I'm making this video because today is my 30th birthday. And I am in the most pain I've ever been in my life. People are asking me, did you plan anything for your birthday? Did you do this? What are you going to do? I'm saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. But now I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this video together. Why? I need to raise a huge chunk of money for this bike that I want. This year I've already raised $4,000, but it's a total of $23,500 for this bike. In the last 2 years, I got to $10,000, and then by the end of the year, the grants went away. This year, I've got $4,000, and I'm going to really need your help to fundraise a good chunk of this money through Help Hope Live. I linked it down below, and if you can't donate, you can share it. You can like the video. You can follow along. You know, I plan to make so much fun content with this bike. It's going to be incredible, and I'm excited to show you what else I have planned in my 30s. My 30s are going to be crazy, and this is quite the birthday. And yeah, thank you all for listening to my story, and I just want to leave you with one quote before I go. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.